think is Andy has been a genius in this space, but and I don't think it's actually Andy. I think it's because NBC is so big and has shareholders to answer to and all that. They haven't reinvented. There's nothing new. We are doing the same playbook over and over and over again. We are just plugging in younger faces at a restaurant or on a yacht, and it's the same formula. And new people are not coming to Bravo every day and going, oh my God, I love this. I can relate. We're holding on to a fabulous audience that sustained him. But I adore Jeff, but what is Jeff reinventing?
No. I mean, same thing. No shade to Jeff, but it's the same thing. I mean, granted, yeah, no, I agree with you. It's the 60 plus this. Okay, it's for the network, but it makes me think of like, yes, I think Skinny Girl was such a smart idea. I really do. Look, you wouldn't have any of the money if you weren't on RHONY. Period. The end. It was a great vehicle. It worked. The car, Kelly, she's up here, you're down there, Luann. I'm not taking, I think it's a brilliant idea, but having a brilliant idea for a product which you sell is different than being a media giant. That is Howard Stern. It is Alex Cooper. And so I think Bethenny personally is one of the greatest housewives of all time when it comes to the acid tongue. I think nobody has that clapback as she is so good at it. Kenya's great at it, but she was so quick-witted with her comebacks, and she could take you down in like one sentence. I like to think I'm the same way, actually, but that's besides the point. So that she's great at reality TV and she's a smart idea that you sold. That's different than like a media giant. Like you do a podcast every day. So do I. We're great at it. It ain't easy, guys. So my point is that's where I feel Bethenny is falling from grace. Like she would love to be the Alex Cooper, but it's just not working. I mean, yes, you're big on TikTok, but it's not working. There's 12 different podcasts and I'm not knocking her. I actually like her. But there's 12 different podcasts, and now there's the Chanel thing, and now there's this, and now Round Swamp. She's grasping on, and it's different than an Alex Cooper who turns on the microphone and she knows what she's doing. Right?
Yeah, and Alex is just married an agent, so that brings to the table a lot of strategy. And look, I don't know what's happened to Bethany. I really don't. I wish we could get a closer insider because I don't even think she has good friends aside from her daughter, which wonderful. Nothing is better than having a close relationship with your kids. I wish we knew what was going on there because she would have been she could have been the Andy Cohen and beyond, with launching shows and developing talent. And she and, Nene, if she could have, but I believe Perez Hilton. I think she got very lucky. And I think,
but she has the gorgeous Hamptons house. Like it's a water view. It's in South. She just bought a place in New York to crash. Like she's doing, there's real money there compared to some of her colleagues from the Housewives in the
I believe
Hamptons.
that, but I think she got lucky and she probably had a lot of investors and people behind the scenes guiding her through that merge or that buy. And yeah, she's probably well invested in the stock market and other things. But I think this idea that she is a Mark Cuban or an Alex Cooper is just, we've jumped the shark.
We jumped the shark. Bad news for your friend over there. He diddles and he daddles, but he's not going to be doing it on Netflix anymore. Mauricio Mo. He's been asked to leave the building. He might have a hot 33-year-old model. But Buying Beverly Hills, and Netflix has said you can diddle and you can daddle. And hopefully you're not diddling and daddling on the new girlfriend, but we're done with you in Buying Beverly Hills. What do you think about this one? And what are these theories? He said there's some theories lurking that people don't believe it.
Well, a lot people have slid into my DMs very upset about this. Our mutual fans, so you've probably received the same DMs, but people are like, oh, I know everybody was watching this show. People love this show. There's no way this is bad ratings. I believe Variety put out the story, said the ratings were very, very low on this. And people are like, that just cannot be the case. They believe that Mo is maybe having some issues with Kyle, with legal issues, and the real estate business is maybe not going particularly well, and he needs to focus his time there. So they believe it's personal reasons that Mo is stepping back. But I don't know. I think if you have a hit show, you stay, right, through the personal issues. What do you think? Do you think this could be more? I mean, the real estate business is slowing down nationwide, right? It's
I have
it's
some thoughts on this one.
all right, tell us.
Well, I think that it's kind of like when I had my good friend Chris Hansen on the show from To Catch a Predator and his podcast, Predator in Plain Sight, with my good friend Kimberly Archie. And I was talking about jury selection. And I mean, this jury selection, do you listen to Bravo podcast? These were the questions on the jury. Do you know who, it didn't say, do you know who David and Sarah were? It should have. But do you know who Erica Jane is? Did you do? And I said, just like with OJ, lots of things here. How are we going to choose this jury? And Chris was like, let's put it into perspective, Miss Yontef, that your audience knows about Miss Jane, and I know about Miss Jane, but the
Most
world does not know about Erica Jane. There's lots of people that are living under a rock that have never seen, they don't know a Dorit from a Sutton from a Gossell. So I personally, like everybody watches Selling Sunset. Now, whether that will continue, I don't know. I didn't, first of all, the first season of Buying Beverly Hills, I don't think anyone watched. I watched it. I love a real estate show. I mean, $1 Million Listing New York was phenomenal, and that's gone. LA is hanging on, it's doing well. But I don't think people watched Buying Beverly Hills. I think everybody, 10%, 20%, 99% of people listening to this podcast maybe watched it, but I don't think the world watched it. I really don't. It was not the buzz that Selling Sunset had. It was not the buzz of like selling the OC. I don't think everyone watched it. I believe it's a straightforward, the ratings weren't good. Mauricio, although he did not grow up in the business like Kyle, he's been in on the joke for all these years, 14 seasons with Miss Richards. And I think with Mauricio, he lives in LA. Kathy and Rick and more is more. I don't see this businessman walking away from a show, which you're not even really on. You are like the Lisa Vanderpump of it. I don't see him walking away. I think the ratings weren't good. I don't know anyone that watched it outside of the listeners of this show and of your podcast. I don't know one person in the real world, but I can mention Selling Sunset. I got some bites, girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Ryan Serhan's show is next. I have news for everybody, but
And people loved that, loved that. But I
nobody
agree,
watched.
yes. And now everyone's going to say, well, Ryan's, yes, it was number one. Listen, when you're number one on Netflix, it's like a marketing thing. Like you premiere at number one because there's no other show. We could watch through 500 repeats of Selling Sunset. We could watch Emily in Paris last season, which didn't come out, which is a great show. When Ryan premieres, there's no competition. So to be number one in all the countries, yeah, well, that's kind of what's expected. Netflix is in every country, and you're premiering on. Has anyone ever seen two Netflix shows premiere the same day? Because I haven't. So when you premiere, you're number one or number three or whatever, and a lot of things because it's just you. It's the new drop. I agree with you about Ryan's show. I know everyone loves it, but I'm not so sure anyone else is watching it either. I completely
Maybe
agree with you.